what everyone who sees them at a luncheon thinks and says about them. They think and say that since they can't get to the heart of their relationship and can only judge by appearances. To them, she is a diva, and they avoid him like a pygmy covered in toad slime. But actually, that European diva is tied to that toad by the most enviable, noble bond.
This is what he writes.
People ask why I love this virago. This woman truly is not worthy of love, and neither is she worthy of hatred. You shouldn't pay a whit of attention to her. You ought to ignore her very existence. To love her, you must be either me or insane, which is, in the end, one and the same thing. She's not pretty. When I married her, she was hideously ugly, and now she's even worse. She has no forehead. In place of eyebrows, there are two barely noticeable lines above her eyes, and instead of eyes, there are two shallow crevices. Nothing shines out of those crevices. Not intelligence, not desire, not passion. She has a potato nose. Her mouth is small and pretty, but she has terrible teeth. She has no bust or waist. That last flaw is covered up prettily enough by her fiendish ability to lace herself up in a corset with extraordinary agility. She is short and stout. She is flabby. En masse, her figure has one flaw that I consider the worst of all: a total absence of femininity. I do not consider skin pallor and physical weakness to be feminine, and in that I do not share the views of a great many people. She's not a lady, or a woman of fine breeding. She's a shopkeeper with bad manners. When she walks, she waves her arms around. When she sits, she crosses her legs and rocks back and forth. When she lies down, she raises her legs, and so on. She's slovenly. Her suitcases are a prime example. She throws clean underclothes in with soiled ones, cuffs with shoes and my boots, new corsets with broken ones. We never receive anyone because our rooms are always a filthy mess. But why tell you about it? Just look at her. When she wakes up at noon and lazily crawls out from under the covers, you'd never guess that she was a woman with the voice of a nightingale. Her hair unbrushed and snarled, her eyes puffy with sleep, in a nightgown torn at the shoulders, barefoot, hunched over, surrounded by a cloud of yesterday's tobacco smoke. Is that your notion of a nightingale? She drinks. She drinks like a sailor, whenever and whatever. She's been drinking for a long time. If she didn't drink, she'd be better than Adelina Patti, or at least as good. She ruined half of her career because of her drinking, and she'll ruin the other half soon enough. Some nasty Germans taught her to drink beer, and now she won't go to sleep without drinking 2 or 3 bottles before bed. If she didn't drink, she wouldn't have gastritis. She is impolite, which the students who sometimes invite her to their concerts can testify to. She loves advertising. Advertisements cost us several thousand francs every year. I loathe advertising with all my being. No matter how expensive that silly advertisement is, it is always worth less than her voice. My wife likes it when she's patted on the head. She doesn't like to hear the truth about herself unless it's praise. For her, a Judas kiss that is paid for is finer than honest criticism. She has no sense of dignity whatsoever. She is intelligent, but her intelligence is untrained. Her brain, flabby and torpid, lost its plasticity long ago. She's capricious and fickle. She doesn't have a single firm conviction. Yesterday, she said that money is nothing. The purpose of life is not money. And today, she's giving concerts in 4 places because there's nothing on earth more important than money. Tomorrow, she'll say what she said yesterday. She doesn't want to learn anything about her homeland. She has no political heroes, no favorite newspapers, no beloved writers. She's rich, but doesn't help the poor. In fact, she often shortchanges milliners and hairdressers. She has no heart. A thoroughly wicked woman. But look at that virago when she's made up, corseted and every hair in place, as she approaches the footlights to begin her duel with nightingales and larks as they welcome the May dawn. Such dignity and such loveliness in her swan-like walk. Look at her, look, carefully, I beg you. When she first raises her hand and opens her mouth, the crevices are transformed into enormous eyes, glimmering with passion. Nowhere else will you find such magnificent eyes. When she, my wife, begins to sing, when the first trills fly through the air, and I begin to feel my tumultuous soul quietening under the influence of those marvelous sounds, then look at my face and you'll understand the secret of my love. Isn't she magnificent? I ask my neighbors. They say, yes, but that's not enough for me. I want to destroy anyone who might think that this extraordinary woman is not my wife. I forget everything that came before, and I live only in the present. Do you see what an artist she is? How much profound meaning she puts in every one of her gestures. She understands everything. Love, hatred, the human soul. It's no wonder that the applause nearly brings the theatre down. After the last act, I escort her from the theatre. She is pale, exhausted, having lived an entire life in one evening. I'm also pale and fatigued. We get into the carriage and we go to the hotel. In the hotel, without a word and fully dressed, she throws herself onto the bed. I silently sit on the edge of the bed and kiss her hand. That evening, she doesn't push me away. Together we fall asleep. We sleep until morning and wake up to curse each other. Do you know when else I love her? When she's at balls or luncheons. On those occasions, I love the fine actress in her. What an actress she must be to get around and overcome her own nature the way she does. I don't recognize her at those silly luncheons. She turns a plucked chicken into a peacock.
This letter was written in a drunken, barely legible hand.